do we call college football professional sports yet? What do you think? I mean, Kirby Smart's paid like a professional football coach. We've seen more and more name, image, and likeness deals of players where they're making more money than rookies at their position in the NFL. Have we reached the point yet? Dan, what do you think?
I don't know why we wouldn't at this point. There's virtually no decision made that has anything to do with amateurism other than to keep claiming it so you don't have to pay taxes. It's a pretty good little bit. But, yeah, I mean, the decisions consistently get more and more bottom line, particularly in the way the television networks really run the sport now. It's a desire for Fox to Fox is literally sitting in on the Big Ten's TV negotiations with other broadcast partners, and the decisions now aren't just in the same way SEC and the ESPN. It's not just hey, we add USC and UCLA and our league gets stronger. We decimate a competitor in the Pac-12, and via supply and demand, we're even more valuable because we've cut supply and increased the demand in our product. So it's consistently more cutthroat business-wise. It's how are we going to design this playoff to maximize the profits of us, maybe not, improve the entire sport and all that. There's just very little going on at the upper levels, let alone the players making a little bit of cash that suggests it's anything but the NFL.
So what's the next step? I'll ask you the same question I asked Pete Thamel, our colleague at ESPN yesterday. Is the USC, UCLA joining the Big Ten, even though the governor of this great state of California seems to think UCLA shouldn't go, it seems, or needs some reasoning as to why the UC system needs to be subsumed by Big Ten football. Is that the last step? Is that the last big kaboom this year, and we're going to just play football and see how it all plays out, or there's still more to come right now?
Well, there's two big things that have to come up. One would be if Notre Dame decided to join a conference, and that isn't going to happen anytime soon. Notre Dame wants to see what the playoff will look like, and as long as there is access in a large number of at-large spots for Notre Dame to make the college football playoff, then they should be fine. They also want to see what they can get on the market with the renewal of their NBC deal. As long as that number isn't incredibly behind, and it shouldn't, the Big Ten and SEC. It doesn't have to be the same, but if it's in the $60 or $70 million a year range, while Big Ten schools are making $100, maybe that's enough for them. So it's would Notre Dame jump? Notre Dame's not going to make that decision right now. They don't have to. They're always going to be desired. They're the belle of the ball. The only other thing would be what happens with the Big 12 and the Pac-10. Right now, the Pac-10 and Pac-12, now Pac-10, but whatever, is saying we're going to stick together. We're going to go out into market and negotiate our deal, and we're not going to merge with the Big 12. As long as that's the same, then this will go on fairly similarly. But if the Big 12 can convince, particularly the Arizona State, Utah, Colorado, any of those schools, hey, you're better off with us, we're more stable, then the Pac-12 could fall apart. But if the remaining 10 Pac-12 schools want to stick together, then I think we'll hit a little bit of a calm for the time being. But those are really the only two things that are going to happen. The ACC can't really move. The SEC isn't looking to expand anymore. The Big Ten is pretty happy at 16 until they find out what Notre Dame wants to do. So I think it's all about, does the Pac-12 stay together? And if they don't, how many schools jump to the Big 12? But my guess is it'll remain kind of five major conferences for a little while.